let's talk about Surah Al-Kawthar. You probably know it. It's one of the shortest chapters in the entire Quran, and it's loved by so many people. It's always been seen as this beautiful, powerful promise of just overwhelming abundance, given straight to the Prophet Muhammad. Right from the first verse, it's just so direct. Indeed, we have granted you Al-Kawthar, a divine gift, a promise of something called Al-Kawthar, which, literally translates to abundance.
Okay, so here's where we're going today. It's a promise we all know, but what if there's more to it? We're going to dive into a really fascinating take from a lecture by Sheikh Faisal Al-Safar. He suggests that this verse is actually a key that unlocks one of the most foundational ideas in the Shia school of thought. But to even begin to unpack that hidden meaning, we've got to start with what's already well known, the virtues, the rewards that many people believe are promised to anyone who recites this chapter. And we're talking about some huge promises here. According to a lot of traditions, the spiritual benefits are just immense. Things like having your sins forgiven, a guarantee of entering paradise, even drinking from the actual basin of Kawthar in the afterlife, and getting a safe pass over the Sirat. That's the bridge everyone has to cross on the Day of Judgment. So here's the critical question that this particular source asks. Are these incredible promises just automatic? Do you get them no matter what? Well, according to this argument, the answer is a hard no. There's a catch. There's one crucial condition that has to be met first. And this right here, this is the absolute core of the argument. This is where the whole interpretation pivots from being a general promise to a very, very specific requirement. It's like there's a single key that you need to unlock everything else. And that key has a name, wilaya. Now, in this context, walaya means the absolute love, the complete loyalty, and the total acceptance of the guardianship of Ali ibn Abi Talib, the Prophet's cousin and son-in-law, and his designated successors. So how does this all connect? Well, the logic goes something like this. The source points out that there are already other traditions that say crossing that Sirat bridge and drinking from the basin of Kawthar is flat out impossible without having wilaya. So the argument is, if that's true, then the rewards you get from reciting this surah must also depend on that very same loyalty. It all hinges on wilaya. Okay, look, that is a huge claim to make, that all the rewards of a Quranic chapter are tied to the love for one specific person. So you gotta ask, right? What's the proof? Where does this interpretation come from? Well, according to the Sheikh, the main piece of evidence doesn't come from some event down on earth. It actually comes from the heavens. It's found in this detailed narration from Ibn Abbas, who was a really close companion of the Prophet. And he tells the story about a secret conversation that happened during the Prophet's miraculous journey to the heavens, the Miraj. And this is how that narration kicks off. The Prophet explains that while he was up in the heavens, God revealed this incredible direct parallel between him and his cousin Ali. He did it by granting each of them 5 corresponding gifts. And this table, wow, it really lays out the heart of the evidence. On one side, you've got the Prophet's gifts. He was given the Quran, which is called comprehensive words. And mirroring that, Ali was given comprehensive knowledge. The Prophet was given Al-Kawthar, the river of abundance, and Ali was given Salsabil, another spring in paradise. The Prophet got prophethood, Ali got successorship. You can see it's presented as this perfect divine reflection. And it wasn't just hinted at. During this journey, the appointment was made crystal clear. The source says that God told the Prophet directly, "I have made Ali your successor." This wasn't something to be debated later or a political decision for people on earth to make. It was a divine command straight from the heavens. So this brings us to the final part of the whole argument, the big conclusion. If this appointment is truly divine, if it came directly from God, what does that mean for a believer's everyday actions, for their prayers, for their deeds here on earth? The narration ends with this incredibly stark piece of advice to Ibn Abbas. The Prophet actually swears an oath and says that on the Day of Judgment, the very first question God will ask any person won't be about their prayers or their fasting or their charity. It'll be about their love for Ali ibn Abi Talib. This basically sets up 2 completely different paths on Judgment Day. According to this narration, path A is a person affirms their wilaya, their love and loyalty to Ali. If they do that, great. The books on their other deeds are opened up and considered for reward. But then there's path B. If they don't profess wilaya, the accounting just stops right there. Nothing else matters, and their fate is sealed.
Now, get this. The interpretation also presents a really startling comparison, a kind of hierarchy of disbelief. The narration claims that the anger of the fire is actually more severe for someone who rejects Ali than for someone who, say, claims God has a son. And the reason? Well, the idea is that the second person might just be acting out of ignorance or being misled. But the first person? They're seen as someone who was shown the clear truth by the prophet and then knowingly chose to turn away from it.
And the source makes a point to clarify this. This rejection isn't just about active, outspoken hatred. No, the prophet apparently defined a key sign of it as simply preferring someone who is beneath him over him. So in this view, just failing to give Ali his divinely appointed rank is the same as rejecting it completely. And so, that brings us to the ultimate conclusion of this whole interpretation. The abundance, the Al-Kawthar that was promised in this surah, isn't just a river in paradise. No, its deepest, truest, hidden meaning, according to this view, is the gift of wilayah itself. It's not just one belief among many, it's the foundational root. And the argument is that without that root, even your belief in God or the prophet is incomplete, because you can only understand them correctly by going through the gate of Ali's guardianship. And that leaves us with a massive question, doesn't it? This interpretation creates a framework where one single point of loyalty acts as the master key that unlocks salvation and gives value to everything else. And if that's the case, what does it really change about the very nature of faith itself? That's what this reading of the Quran's shortest chapter leaves us to think about.